and from the way she texts to the way she talks. And I can confidently say that I feel like
fucking Charlie Kirk's widow. We're all thinking it. I'll be the one to say it. Erika Kirk is being plowed.
Mikey McCoy. Mikey, where are you? Bro, you really need to explain how you were on the phone, didn't even dial, within like milliseconds, less than a second, and then Charlie gets and you just walk away. Just walk away. And all the team.
The Turning Point USA board, the COO, Justin Strife, and my husband's chief of staff, the amazing.
Oh, but Candace Owens. She wasn't about to bite her tongue. She stormed on air and dropped the one line everyone else was too scared to touch. And just like that, she made the entire internet hit replay on that clip 1,000 times. Her question, simple, sharp, and deadly. Why did Mikey McCoy walk out of frame seconds before Charlie hit the ground? One question, just one, and boom, the internet lost its mind.
Charlie Kirk's chief of staff, Mikey McCoy, was identified in the immediate aftermath of Charlie being shot, acting very weird and taking what looks like a phone call within less than a second after the gunshot rang out. He was crossing his arms and he put his phone directly to his ear before Charlie's body had even hit the ground. Turning Point USA came out and issued a statement about what Mikey was doing. And this was done by an individual who was the producer on the Charlie Kirk show, Blake Neff. He explained that he was right next to Mikey when all of this happened. I've gone back through to verify this, and what is also interesting is that right next to Mikey McCoy and Blake Neff is the individual that took down the camera right behind Charlie before the crime scene was closed off.
One single sentence about the incident flipped the entire internet on its head.
I would have issued a statement to dispel any rumors, but they have not.
4 hours earlier.
First, we got to do a little addressing. It's a video of Charlie's chief of staff. They're alleging that he was on the phone immediately. He was not.
He puts his phone to his ear. There's no dialing, okay? You can't dial and put your phone to an ear in 0.834 seconds.
But the moment you rewatch that clip with Candace Owens' words echoing in your mind, everything suddenly feels off. Charlie was mid-sentence when a deafening bang froze the entire room. And Mikey McCoy, his so-called best friend, didn't flinch. No panic, no shock, just calmly lifted his phone, turned his back, and walked away. Not like a man caught off guard, but like someone following a script he already knew by heart.
Now let's take a closer look at the behavior of the amazing Mikey McCoy in the seconds and minutes after Charlie Kirk's life was tragically taken away. This is footage compiled by Sam Parker. You can see Mikey identified there on the left, or standing next to the left of the tent. Charlie Kirk has just a few seconds left here on this earth, and you can see here, as soon as Charlie is hit, Mikey, in one swift motion, picks up the phone and looks to be calling someone. Very odd. He doesn't duck down like everybody else. He doesn't run to Charlie's aid. He literally picks up the phone and turns around and starts walking. Back to the footage one more time. You can see, again, Charlie is hit. Mikey, one movement, picks up the phone and starts walking. You'll see him disappear from view to the back of the tent, and he will reappear in just a few seconds. And there he is again. You can clearly see that he appears to be on the phone with somebody. That is just odd behavior. I'm sorry. It's very, very weird. You know, it's not criminal behavior, but it is very, very weird. You know, he's just so calm. Here it is, another angle. You can see Charlie below being carried into the SUV, and Mikey is in the distance, looks to be still just on the phone, casually strolling away from the scene of the crime. Is that normal? And maybe the bigger question I'm thinking, and you're probably wondering the same thing too, is who was he calling?
In a moment like that, you'd expect chaos. Screams, confusion, people ducking for cover. But Mikey McCoy, he moved with eerie calm, every step measured. Almost like he'd seen the scene before. And that's exactly why the internet lost its mind. Because if this was just instinct, Why did it look so perfectly rehearsed?
So let me get this straight. We're supposed to believe the official narrative of what happened to Charlie Kirk. Mikey McCoy, Charlie's chief of staff, was on the phone before Charlie's body ever hit the ground. He was still on the phone as he was walking away. What could he have possibly been talking about? Because he has no idea what was happening behind him. Charlie's closest allies and friends were filming themselves while he was being carried out to the car. No instinct to run and help him or run away. Sorry, but this isn't normal no matter which way you put this. Candace is the only one digging into what actually happened, which is why they're attacking her so hard for it. Not to mention, she released even more messages of Charlie saying, "I'm not sure if I'll live to see the end of this revolution." And tells Candace, "I believe you're the piece that God meant for me to meet. Cannot explain it, but I dream of it all the time." And then says, "If that's the case, be my David." I wonder if these same people who mocked Candace Owens for talking about a dream will mock Charlie for it as well. Clearly, the people who are coming after Candace lack any sort of discernment. Instead, they play into the forgiveness done in public, like Charlie Kirk's wife did, and letting off fireworks for his rally, funeral. Candace is the only one digging into the truth of what happened. She's exposing all of the corruption and they hate her for it.
Before diving into the chaos of theories and wild online rumors, let's rewind to the moment it all began, because the timeline of that day tells a completely different story. It started out ordinary, a packed auditorium, flashing cameras, roaring cheers, and Charlie Kirk delivering one of his fiery speeches. But then in an instant everything shattered. A thunderous noise ripped through the hall, silencing the crowd and freezing every breath. People crouched, clutched each other, and stared in disbelief, not yet realizing what had happened. Moments later, officials confirmed it was a serious incident. Security swarmed the stage, whisking Charlie out to a waiting SUV and rushing him to a medical facility. Witnesses described pure chaos. Phones ringing, people crying, guards shouting. Within hours, the footage spread like wildfire across the country. Major outlets called it a staged attack, and social media turned into a frenzy of slow-motion clips and conspiracy threads. But as the shock settled, a new headline took over. Not about the blast, but about the one man who didn't flinch, Mikey McCoy. While everyone else was terrified, he stood there calm, collected, almost detached. And that calmness in a sea of panic became the spark that ignited the internet's obsession. One clip, one man, and one strange reaction that flipped the entire narrative on its head. But here's where things got really bizarre. Mikey McCoy's reaction? Totally unlike anyone else in the room. No ducking, no panicked glances, no frantic attempts to help. Instead, with unnerving precision, he lifted his phone to his ear, spun around, and walked away. Calm, collected, utterly unfazed. No hesitation, no fumbling, no sign he'd just witnessed chaos. Sharp-eyed viewers noticed something even stranger. He never dialed a number. No unlocking, no tapping, no searching for a contact. The phone just stayed to his ear, like the call had already been queued. And in mere seconds, that clip set the entire internet ablaze. Then Candace Owens dropped unseen footage, this time capturing him immediately after the incident, before he even moved the camera. The new footage only stoked the fire, transforming a shocking event into a full-blown mystery. Candace pointed out that, even if these people weren't involved, they had no business being at the epicenter of Turning Point USA at that moment. And that sent TikTok, X, and YouTube sleuths into overdrive. The burning question, did he actually make the call, or did someone else answer for him? Fans dissected the clip frame by frame, slowing it to Joish 25x, zooming in on every gesture, every flicker in his eyes, every subtle body movement. And every time, Mikey's calm composure looked less like instinct and more like a carefully executed plan. This single clip flipped a tragedy into a viral mystery. Before the online chaos could even catch its breath, Candace Owens took it further on her show. No hints, no sugarcoating. She called out Mikey McCoy and Andrew Kovic, demanding answers. Obviously, I just want to know, who were you even talking to on that phone? What actually happened? Still not a word. And that silence? It made everything even murkier. Candace Owens later recalled asking Mikey McCoy if he remembered what happened right after the chaos. His answer, he called Erika, then his wife, then his father. According to him, Charlie Kirk had always instructed that if anything went wrong, Erika should be contacted first, and Mikey had followed that instruction to the letter. Eyewitnesses described him that day as calm, sharp, almost unnervingly in control, some even calling him a hero amid the pandemonium. But Candace Owens saw something else entirely. She didn't accuse, but she raised the eyebrow everyone else was too afraid to lift. She questioned why Mikey left his position before Charlie fell, why he seemed so composed, and most importantly, what was up with that phone? She demanded publicly, who did he call? Why did the story change? And why won't anyone in the organization clarify? She even pushed for the release of his call logs for that exact moment. Because if nothing shady happened, why not just prove it? And just like that, the internet ignited. Hashtags blew up. Users spliced and slowed clips to fractions of a second, replaying every gesture, every glance, trying to solve the puzzle. Then came the twist that nobody saw coming. The very first person to praise Mikey after the incident was Erika Kirk, making her first public appearance just days after her husband's death. But it wasn't her words about Charlie that caught attention. It was how she spoke about Mikey McCoy. Calm, smiling, precise, she said on stage, "I want to thank the Turning Point USA Board of Directors, CEO Justin Strife, and my husband's chief of staff, the amazing Mikey McCoy." That 5-word praise flipped curiosity into suspicion and pushed this story into an entirely new direction. Just 5 simple words. The amazing Mikey McCoy, and the entire online atmosphere flipped upside down. Nobody expected Erika to drop his name, and even fewer anticipated the warmth, the smile, the praise, right as the internet was tearing him apart. The timing? Purely eyebrow-raising. Out of dozens of people present that day, why single out Mikey? Why heap admiration on someone already under fire for his reaction during the chaos? Instantly, social media erupted. TikTok and X users replayed the clip endlessly, dissecting her smile, her tone, her gaze, and the way she said his name, juxtaposing it with footage of Mikey calmly walking away. Candace Owens wasted no time, looping the video and asking bluntly, "Mikey, where were you? Why were you holding the phone? Not dialing just milliseconds before the incident, then walking off." Turning Point USA scrambled to defend him, but the internet didn't pause. The burning question, why compliment him, spread like wildfire. Within hours, what should have been a brief thank you turned into the newest hotspot of suspicion. And as the public pieced together the moments, fairly or not, debates raged. Some argued grief drives people to cling to those left. Others insisted Erika's praise was far too personal, given all the unanswered questions. One thing was clear. Those 5 words had completely shifted the spotlight. The spotlight had shifted. From Mikey McCoy's odd reaction to the murky questions about his relationship with Erika, why her first public thank you went to him, and what their motives might be. Social media buzzed with theories that the two had grown closer after the incident, and speculation ran wild. That's when Turning Point USA tried to step in and clear the air. But instead of calming the storm, their statement only stoked the flames of doubt. A spokesperson insisted that Mikey wasn't calm or indifferent. He was stunned, reacting instinctively to a shocking moment. They claimed he didn't abandon Charlie Kirk, but simply followed emergency protocols. Contact Erika, then his father, Pastor Rob McCoy, whenever unusual situations arose. Plausible? Maybe convincing? Not really. Every new explanation seemed to raise more questions than it answered. Then Charlie Kirk's producers, Andrew Kavit and Blake Neff, who were right next to Mikey during the chaos, spoke up to defend him. They insisted some of the viral clips had been edited and taken out of context, framing him as cold and indifferent, a completely unfair portrayal. "Look, that video doesn't show the full story," they said. Blake explained that the loud bang made everyone turn in shock, and when they saw Charlie in trouble, the scene looked dangerous. Their first instinct? Move to safety. "We didn't abandon Charlie," he added. "We didn't know what was happening. An explosion goes off, you don't know where it came from. In that instant, survival comes first. We had to make sure no one else got hurt. So, our instinct was simple. Get somewhere safe and alert anyone who could help," they explained. They insist Mikey McCoy's actions weren't cold or indifferent, just a calculated act of self-preservation amid chaos. And according to them, the viral clip conveniently left all that context out. Still, the internet split down the middle. Some argued he was simply following instinct, others smelled something deeper. Charlie Kirk had a full security team, trained to respond instantly. And they did exactly that. Mikey's role, as he explained, wasn't to interfere. It was to follow protocol. But that's where things got messy. If everything was by the book, why were eyewitness accounts so inconsistent? Pastor Rob McCoy claimed Mikey called in a state of panic, covered in dust. Erika said he called her first and he sounded frantic. Meanwhile, the publicly released footage showed no panic, no dialed phone, no visible connection. 3 versions of the same moment, yet none matched. Then Turning Point hosts jumped in on live broadcasts, praising Mikey as loyal, calm, even heroic. But instead of clearing the confusion, their defenses only amplified it, leaving the public more puzzled than ever.
This is
Leaving the public more puzzled than ever.
And I can speak to that because I was there when it happened and I was next to Mikey when it happened. And what I can say is, I can't say every single thing that happened, but I want to talk about this specific narrow thing. That the shooting occurs. I am next to Mikey. Both of us hear a loud crack. We both turn. We both see Charlie, who has been shot. Both of us, I think at about the same time, realize that that means there is a shooter who is on the scene. And, you just hear the crack, so you don't know, did it come from far away? Did it come from close? Is there a mass shooter unfolding right now? So I and him both had the reaction of, let's get out of here before we're both shot. That is not us abandoning Charlie. Charlie had a security team. They all leapt immediately into action. And I'll never forget what I saw because it was clear in the moment that he was profoundly freaked out. What I'll always remember is the way his lip was quivering, which I'd never seen before. And you very rarely see from someone that he was freaking out. And then I think he literally said to me, I might be imagining this, but I think what he literally said was, he was looking around and then he says, I need to call Erika. And then he takes his phone and he begins calling Erika. I put that phone away and then he immediately calls his dad. He calls Rob McCoy and he says, Dad, someone shot Charlie. You need to call all of your pastor friends. Charlie was hit. We need everyone to pray. Right.
Then a fresh theory hit the internet, and it spread faster than any official statement. Were Erika and Mikey McCoy closer than anyone realized? Let's be clear, there's zero concrete proof of anything beyond work. Everything swirling online is speculation, fueled by netizens, not verified facts. Yet that didn't stop the rumor mill. People noticed Erika and Mikey had appeared together at Turning Point events countless times. Even pre-incident clips resurfaced, showing familiar glances, inside jokes, and body language that some interpreted as more than professional. Add to that Erika's first public compliment post-incident going straight to Mikey, rather than Charlie's family, security, or staff. And suddenly, all eyes were glued to him. The internet, which thrives on drama over clarity, ran wild. TikTok users posted comparison videos dissecting every glance and gesture. On X, Twitter users slowed clips to frame by frame,